This month we are going to up the ante. Please be kind to me, I am soft. Hey, hello team, my name is Monique. Welcome back to the Cauldron and my incredibly overachieving September TBR. In case you didn't know, this is Bookwitch Reviews on my channel, and in case you have been hanging around for a while, other than hi, how you doing, you may have noticed that I monthly play a TBR game called TBR Tombola. This month we are going to up the ante. We are going to do double TBR game. We are going to do my regular TBR Tombola, where I regularly, or normally anyway, pick 7 numbers out of a Tombola machine, and each of these numbers have a prompt attached to it. I then try, usually without success, to read the majority of that TBR. But this month we are also doing Becca's Bookoplathon, which is made by the wonderful Becca and the books. I played this last year. As far as I remember, I enjoyed it. And basically, this is a TBR game based around the idea of Monopoly. And she has a whole board for it. And the month of September, we are doing a month-long readathon for it. So there are usually 5 roles in this game. And we are going to try and combine TBR Tombola and Bookoplathon the best way we can. So first off, let me show you what I am reading for Bookoplathon, and then you may have some repeats for TBR Tombola. We'll see. Yes. So here we are again, trying out Becca's Bookoplathon. I am once again a teeny tiny potion bottle, and we're going to start on go. And it shouldn't move too much today, but we'll just try our best. Here goes. Obviously. So we got a 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. TBR game. Well, that's nice. I can use my own TBR game. So my first roll, as you saw, was for a TBR game, and I am going to go with my own TBR game. So here's my first number. As you saw, my first number was 2, which is a reread jar. We will not be reading from the actual reread jar. I will not pick a random number. I'm trying to make this easy for myself because I will actually be hosting a small read-along for Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier with one of my friends on Instagram. I will leave a link to her Instagram profile down below. I really think you should check her out. She's wonderful, photography, absolutely amazing. And this will be a reread of one of my favorite books of all time. In case you have not heard of this book, Daughter of the Forest is a loose retelling of The Wild Swans by H.C. Andersen, which is sort of a traditional fairy tale with a curse and brothers. And the reason why I love it especially is because the princess is basically the hero. This one is then chock full of more magic, Celtic, like mythology, like fairies. We almost have some Viking-y vibes going on. It is quite adult themes in here as well. There are trigger warnings for sexual assault, but it is one of my favorite books of all time. And I haven't reread it for a while, so we will be rereading this together and discussing it, and I'm very excited. And this will now be going officially on my TBR because I was going to read it outside of it, and I'm just like, that's just too much, Monique. It's too much. So second roll, we got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. It says myth, lore, legend, or fairy tale. So next I landed on myth, lore, and fairy tale, and for that I will be reading These Feathered Flames by Alexandria Overy. This is a 2021 release. It is sapphic. It is based loosely, I believe, on the fairy tale of the Firebird, which I believe is a Russian fairy tale or Russian folklore. Basically, in this book, we are following 2 characters. I don't know if it's dual perspective or we are only following one of them, but basically we have 2 princesses. One of them will be the next queen, and the other one will take up the mysterious position as the Firebird. However, I believe that the queen dies rather suddenly, and there may be something else on the foot. I've also heard that there is a magical little cinnamon roll boy, and I am excited for it. And just yeah, I'm excited for it. Third roll. Another 8. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have Steal a Book, which I can't remember what means. Next I landed on Steal a Book, and I had a bit of a hard time trying to find a book on these TBRs, but in the end I found Jaded readers, like TBR, I believe she's doing another readathon at the same time. But basically, I saw that she's reading this. This is Son of the Storm by Suyi Davies Ukumbawa, which is a new African-inspired fantasy. It's the first in a new series called what's it called again? Something about like the Loose Republic, the Nameless Republic, which I think is an absolutely amazing name. And basically in this, we have a queer web, we have a scholar who doesn't want to be a scholar, and forbidden magic. I've heard amazing things about it, and I'm so excited. And I just got this in my fake rate box, and I'm just like, yay! I can put this on my TBR, so that's what I'm gonna do. Roll 6, 1, 2, 5, 6. POC rep. On my fourth roll, I landed on POC rep, and for that, I will be reading this baby. This is Blackwater Sister by Sen Cho, which is a contemporary fantasy / magical realism adult book. Basically, we are following a young lesbian woman who, after having lived the majority of her life in the States, I believe, end up moving back to Malaysia with her family. However, she doesn't really speak the language. And once she arrives, she suddenly starts hearing voices. And one of them is the voice of her deceased grandmother, who wants our main character to basically take revenge on one of these. I believe he's like a local crime lord of some kind, because he has basically talked shit about her deity, the Blackwater Sister. And I'm so excited about this. I love Sen Cho, and I'm just like, I'm here for the queer and the ghost and the sass that I feel like is going to come from this book. So I'm here for it. So fifth roll. That is 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lowest rated. As my fifth roll, I landed on lowest rated. And since my Goodreads is a bit of a mess, I tried my best and found the lowest rated that I know that I have. And for that, I will be reading The Bloodprint by Asuma Sehanat Khan, which I believe is a Middle East inspired fairy tale. I believe that there is like a cult following going on, and a group of young women who are trying to stop this sort of dictator from taking over. This one had 3.25 rated, which I don't think is particularly low. I hadn't really seen this like anywhere whatsoever when I found it in a secondhand bookshop, but it's so pretty. And like, look at this nice little blue thing, and this spine is stunning. So I'm excited about reading this one, or at least like trying to read this one. I'll try. One last hurrah for my double, please not another double. And we got a 3. 1, 2. TBR vet. Last but not least for my Bookoplathon, because obviously I rolled a double in my first roll. We landed on TBR vet, which means that I am going to try my very best to read this book. This is Sweet Black Waves by Christina Perez, which is actually a retelling of Tristan and Isolde, which is basically like a forbidden lovers sort of not fairy tale, I think it's a folk tale of some kind. But basically, I believe that we are following the servant of a princess who finds this young man on a beach. And the princess and this young man fall in love of some kind. And basically, our main character is just trying to help them realize their love, and also to keep everyone like safe. I've heard good things about this one. I believe the full trilogy is out now, and I have had this book for a good couple of years, so we're gonna try and read it. So yeah, that's 6 books already on the TBR. Let's just see what else I pulled from the TBR Tombola machine. So as you saw, I just pulled 57, which is a magical realism book, and for that I will be reading The Witch King by H.E. Edmond. This is a contemporary fantasy magical realism book where we are following a young trans witch who has basically left behind his fiance and his life to sort of continue to pursue magic and to live the way that he wants to. But his former fiance is coming for him, and the former fiance is a fairy prince. I have heard great things about this one. I absolutely adore this cover. And basically this is another fake rape book that I just really desperately want to read, so that's what we're reading. Next up, I pulled 87, which is a chance card, so we are going to pick one. Please be kind to me, I am soft. This. Da-da-da-da. Gifted. Okay, I can run with this. I can work with this. Hold on. So for my chance card, I will be reading Die Götterprayer by Gareth Hanrahan, which is a book that has been chilling on my TBR, I think for the better part of a year and a half, maybe. I was sent this by the absolutely wonderful Justine from I Should Read That. I will leave a link to her channel down below. This is an adult fantasy, and I'm not entirely sure what it's about, other than the fact that apparently it has some creepy magic people who are like candle faces. I'm not entirely sure, so we're going to read the back. Enter a city of the saints and thieves. The city of Graden stands eternal, a refuge from the war that rages beyond its borders. But in the ancient tunnels deep beneath its street, a malevolent power has begun to stir. I just really want to read it, also because I have an e-arc of the second book, which I never have read, and it's just staring at me on my NetGalley, not gonna lie. So we'll be reading this, or try. Next, I pulled number 23, which is to continue a series, and for that I will be reading Redemptor by Jordan Ifukio, which is the sequel to Raybearer, which was a young adult fantasy novel that I read, I believe, earlier this year, and I absolutely fell in love. Or was it early last year? I can't remember. It's stunning. It's an African-inspired fantasy, and in the first book we are meeting a young female protagonist who basically has been raised in isolation by her mother, whom she calls the Lady, and by the time she is allowed to go and make friends, she gets put into this political plot with the crown prince to become one of his council, and then her mother then also makes her promise that once the crown prince loves her as much as she loves him, she will kill him. And it's so good, and this is the sequel. I believe it's only a duology, but like, this is the very stunning Lumigrade edition. Look at that ombre edge, and I just really desperately want to read this immediately. And last but not least, I pulled 74, and that is a middle grade, and for that I will be reading another new book to my TBR, which is Escape to Witch City by E. Latimer. I believe that this is about a young girl who gets found out that she is a witch in this world that very definitely is not witch friendly, and so she escapes to, I believe, almost like a school sort of thing, and she sort of finds out that the women in her family have been hiding things from her for ages, including her aunt, who may also or may not be a witch. I've just heard great things. I've heard that it's a great read for people who don't want to read Harry Potter anymore because fuck J.K. Rowling. And basically, I just really want to read this because it just sounds wonderful. Wait. And as you can see, fuck that. And as you can see, in the end, we have a rather massive stack. There is 10 books, 9 books, one. As you can see, there are 10 books on this TBR. So intense reading for me. If you would like to see me try and do this, you can always click that thumbs up button. You can hit the subscribe button at the same time so you don't miss out on any other videos from me. You can also click the little bell which gives you a notification when I put up a new video, and I will endeavor to try and do that more often. But basically, yes, this is my September TBR. It is also my birthday in September and I have some time off, so maybe I'll do this, maybe I won't. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then stick around. And remember that I'm proud of you. I'll see you really soon. Goodbye.